Yes, let us start. Am I audible? Please, one of you respond, Gagan. Yeah, be with me so that whenever I ask, you should only respond. Okay. Yes. We are going to start off with the next type of modulation technique. I hope the morning sessions PSK is clear, I guess. So we are going to discuss about the next digital modulation technique. The third one in the digital modulation technique. Morning's video is not captured, so I'm going to share it separately. I'm going to share a different video altogether. Morning class video is not recorded, so please excuse me for that. I'm going to share another video for that particular session. Okay. So we are going to go with the third one, which is the frequency shift key. Frequency shift key. The third modulation technique in digital modulation schemes, abbreviated as FSK. Okay, so we are going to look at how the symbols are denoted or represented in general for an FSK system. The symbol is represented as SI of t, which is equal to. So we are going to express the amplitude as under the root 2e by t. 2e by t multiplied by the factor which we are changing here is, or the parameter of the carrier signal that we are changing in this case is the frequency of the carrier. So therefore the omega naught, in place of omega naught we will have omega I into t, and the phase will be constant, which is equal to phi. So please observe this carefully. So make a note of this. If this recording it does not go well, then it will be problematic for you. You have to write the notes for all the class, and today you are going to upload it. Okay? Today or tomorrow you will have to upload your class notes. So make sure you are writing all these things. So in this frequency shift key, we are going to represent the symbols, different symbols with different set of frequencies. Thereby the parameter which will be changing with respect to symbols is omega I, where I is a variable which can take any value from 1, 2, 3, so on to the value of m. And m, as we know, it is only with respect to denoted with respect to powers of 2. So let us take one example and then try to understand. I am going to take an example of m is equal to 2 case as usual. So this particular modulation type is called as binary FSK. When m is equal to 2, we denote or we call it as binary. So in this particular case, we are going to discuss about binary FSK. So how to write the symbols in binary is S1 of t is equal to under the root 2e by t into cosine of the angle. In place of omega I will write it as the first frequency, which is omega 1t plus phi. So this is a carrier frequency f1. The second symbol s2, it is another symbol represented with an angle with an amplitude under the root 2e by t. Cosine, the second symbol will have a different frequency called omega 2t plus phi. So here the carrier frequency is f2. Please remember these are two different sinusoids with frequency f1 and f2. So here these are the equations for the symbols. Now you need to tell me how many basis functions are required here in order to represent these symbols.
1, ma'am.
1. Why? How 1? See, in the previous cases, what was happening was we had only omega naught. On all the cases of symbols, we had omega naught. right? Even in ASK, even in PSK, we had omega naught constant. Either we had cos or we had sine in case of PSK. So we said the number of basis functions required are either 1 or 2. But you carefully observe over here, the sinusoid, is it still the same here? The functions are same. Can I say this omega 1 is equal to omega 2? Omega 1 is not equal to omega 2. That is one of the important factors to distinguish between the two symbols. Omega 1 is not equal to, these are not W's, these are omegas. Omega 1 is not equal to omega 2. In that case, this is a completely different sinusoid. This is a completely different sinusoid. It depends on how many sinusoids I'm making use of in order to represent all the symbols, that will matter. Okay, so therefore in this case there are two different sinusoids to represent two different symbols. Therefore the number of basis functions required here is, for the case m is equal to 2, is two basis function, where the first one xi I of t, in this case it is under the root 2 by t cos omega 1t. The second is, it is not quadrature, please remember that. They are orthogonal, but I'm not writing the quadrature, it is still the real part, or it is still the in phase component. But you observe here, in this case the basis function is xi2 of t with the amplitude 2 by t cos omega 2t, cos omega 2t. So there are two basis functions required in order to represent the symbols. The symbol 1 is represented along xi1 and symbol 2 is represented along xi2. Please observe carefully, this is not PSK, this is not even ASK. There are two different things, and in PSK, if you remember, we had also plotted here, but in that case it was xi2 of t, correct, but here we had sine omega naught t instead of cos omega 2t. We had sine omega naught t. That is in quadrature, with your carrier. But this particular factor cos omega 2t, it is entirely a different basis function altogether, with the frequencies omega 1 and omega 2. Therefore the symbols are S2 along xi2 and S1 along xi1. If at all there is no this is not a real case, but hypothetically, if this m is equal to 3, then can you think what will happen? This is an hypothetical scenario. M cannot be equal to 3. M will be 4, right? It will be in powers of 2. But I am taking a very hypothetical scenario because I want to represent it on the board. Therefore, I am going with the m is equal to 3 case. So what is m is equal to 3 case? How many basis functions do I require for m is equal to 3? Think and tell me. There will be 3 symbols. S1.
One only.
S1 is, again don't say 1. Wait till I write the equation. S1 of t is equal to under the root 2t into root e cos omega 1t. I am neglecting the initial phase. I am leaving out the initial phase. S2 of t is equal to under the root 2e by t cos omega 2t. S3 of t is equal to under the root 2e by t into cos omega 3t. Now you tell me, how many basis functions are required for this case? Think and tell me. Huh? Yes. Prithvish or Tejas, who is answering?
Ma'am, one ma'am.
1.
Three,
How
ma'am.
1? Think and
Three,
tell me,
ma'am.
man. Think. See here, omega 1 is not equal to omega 2. So what did I say? There are two basis functions here. One is corresponding to cos omega 1t, the other one is corresponding to cos omega 2t. Okay, similarly, come to this case.
Three, ma'am.
Omega 1 omega 1 is not equal to omega 2 is not equal to omega 3. Therefore, this requires three basis functions in order to represent. So that means we have to plot these symbols in a three-dimensional space. How does the three-dimensional space will look like? X, Y, Z coordinates. Which and these the choice of omega 1, omega 2, omega 3 should be in such a way that they should be orthogonal to each other. What do you mean by orthogonal? When you multiply these two cosine terms and then integrate it over a period, you should get a 0. Okay, if you integrate it over a period, one symbol, then you should get a 0. Only then we say they are orthogonal to each other. Okay, so this is xi1 will be along the x-axis, xi2 along the, assume that this is y-axis position, and xi3 along z-axis. This is to signify that they are orthogonal to each other. I am mentioning this in terms of xyz to say that xi1 is orthogonal with xi2, xi2 is orthogonal with xi3, xi3 is orthogonal with xi1. Therefore, I can locate these symbols s1, s2, s3 on the corresponding basis functions, which is s1 along xi1, s2 along xi2, s3 along xi3. Okay, so this is the FSK representation. Now, coming to the case of MFSK.
Ma'am?
I still have to write the waveform. Let me write. Yes, you asked me the doubt. Yes.
Ma'am, if m value is greater than 4, what will happen, ma'am?
Right. The very right question. See, as a perception, we can only analyze the three-dimensional entity. Correct. For m is equal to 4, what is going to happen is it is going to be a very complex scenario where I need the fourth dimension or fourth dimension representation to do this, which is practically not possible. Normally, for MFSK or FSK, the frequency shifting purpose, we are going to restrict ourselves to m is equal to 2, not even 3. 3 is hypothetical scenario, but we are going to restrict for a lower values of m in case of FSK. There is also another reason here to not to use FSK. Very important reason is that for not using FSK, I hope you remember the resources of communication that we require to design any system. Right? I have told you about this in the previous classes, that what are the resources of a communication system? I said about 2 resources. What are those? Please remember and tell me. Try to tell me.
Power,
Yes? Yes?
power and bandwidth.
Power and bandwidth, exactly. So in this case, power is not an issue. Assume that I have the full capacity of the transmitter side. I have power amplifiers. I can generate as much amount of power as I have got. Okay. So assume that I have power, but if you observe carefully, each and every symbol will require one frequency for it to be transmitted, and there is another thing that we need to observe, that whenever I am going to choose omega 1, omega 2 or omega 3, I need to ensure that these omega 1 and omega 2 are not very much far apart to consume less, to conserve the bandwidth, but I should also take care that these two should be orthogonal to each other, which is quite not possible in real scenario. Okay, and the signal in fourth dimension does not make any sense. So we normally do not prefer using FSK systems to transmit any digital information, because of the reason that the system will get more complex with the higher values of m, and moreover the bandwidth required, if the as and when the m value goes on increasing 4, 6, 4, 8, 16, if it so happens, then there is a problem that the bandwidth consumption will be too large for a communication system, and if we are not optimizing the bandwidth usage, then the system will be of no use to us. Okay, we cannot put more information into the channel if the bandwidth is utilized more. So for that sake, we do not use FSK much, but it is a concept we need to know. But minimal m value, with minimal m value, we can still analyze and we can use binary FSK systems. M is equal to 3 is a very hypothetical scenario. Okay, m can take only a powers of 2. So this is it with respect to FSK. I'm just going to give you an example of there is no if you are going to plot the IQ plot for the same thing, the IQ plot is quite interesting. You can see here. So IQ plot, let me plot it and then I'll go to waveform plot. So in the IQ plot, we normally say IQ is represented with respect to one frequency. Why? We express the Euler's formula, that is e to the power j omega naught, as cos omega naught t plus j sin omega naught t. This is our Euler's formula. I cannot apply different frequency here. Cos and sin should be with the same frequencies. Therefore, each one of the basis function or each one of the symbol will have their own specific IQ plot. That means S1 as IQ plot with I and Q, and here since I am using the cosine function, S1 can be located along the in phase axis, and this is with respect to Xi1, this is S1, and similarly for S2 I'll have another IQ plot. This is with the frequency omega 2 cos omega 2t. In this case, the signal S2 or the symbol S2 is again located on in phase only because I am using cos omega 2t. So therefore this is S2. Similarly S3 also the same thing, but it will be on the same in phase component of the IQ plot. I hope this is understood. Do you want me to repeat this explanation again, or did you understand it? No voice. Please tell me. I want your response. Whether you have understood or not. What, everyone is sleeping, huh? Only
Understood,
Namita
ma'am.
is replying. I understand it is afternoon. Please respond to me so that we can go a little bit quick. Little bit faster. Let us not get stuck at one point. So this is it with respect to the IQ plot of FSK. For each and every symbol there will be I and Q. Just you remember that. Corresponding to one basis function, you will have I and Q in each of the phases. So this is one thing with respect to the FSK, which is very unique. Now let me plot. There are two aspects in the FSK actually. There are two types actually. So whenever I am shifting with respect to frequency, whenever I am transmitting symbols more than one or more than two rather, then the change in the frequency, from one symbol to other symbol, the frequency should change. Now, let me take one example. 1 0 1 1. I'm using just binary FSK. This is a simple FSK I'm trying to use. Okay, so this is for binary FSK, m is equal to 2. That means each one of this symbol period will be represented with different frequencies corresponding to the bit I am transmitting. So in order to transmit bit 1, I am going to send omega 1. In order to transmit bit 0, I am going to transmit omega 2. Similarly, bit 1 again omega 1. Let me make this as 0. This is again omega 2. Means different frequencies. So there it can happen two way. That is, I can start off with the cos of certain frequency omega 1, and along with the same phase, what will happen? The next bit or the next bit representation can take the larger frequency. It can take another frequency called omega 2. The next bit is 1. It looks like your FM signal, but if you look at it properly, it will be a information corresponding to the digital bit. If you see properly that from one carrier waveform in one symbol period to the other carrier waveform in the second symbol period, the phase will be continuous. It is not an abrupt change, but rather it will be a continuous phase will be maintained throughout the waveform. Such a representation or that type of FSK is called continuous phase FSK. This is called as continuous phase FSK. So there is another form of FSK where it is not going to worry about the phase, rather it will just represent omega 1 for bit 1. For omega 2 it will go with another frequency. It will not bother about the phase, where it is stopping, where it is ending. Rather it is just going to worry only about the frequency that it is transmitting. Okay, something like this. So there will be abrupt change here. So there is an abrupt change in phase. So this is a simple FSK, normal FSK. This where the phase of the sinusoidal wave is maintained throughout the transmission. That type of FSK signal is called as continuous phase FSK. This is simply a FSK waveform. I hope this is clear. There are two types, and we have to still discuss about the detection methods. I have just given you the headings, so that we will come later one by one. We will look at it. Is this understood? So far we have discussed 3 different basic digital modulation techniques: ASK, PSK and FSK. I hope this is clear. If it is okay, then we can go with another variation in digital modulation technique, which is ASK combined with PSK. So that is another type of modulation technique, which is also mostly used kind of modulation technique for practical cases, like in your mobile technology and all. They are going to use that type of modulation technique only. Let me define. It's not a very basic modulation technique, but it is rather a combined effect of ASK and PSK. So it is a combination of ASK PSK. So here I will have 2 variables, that is SI of t is equal to, I can represent this symbols as under the root 2 EI of t by capital T into cos omega naught will remain as it is. I am not changing the frequency, but in phase it will be 2 pi I by m, or I can just write it as phi I of t, where phi I will take a value 2 pi I by capital M, and in this I will take any value from 1 to capital M. This is a very unique kind of combination. So what will happen here is, once you take, I think SI is equal to 2 will not make much difference. SI is equal to, M is equal to 4 also will not make much of a difference. But if you choose more larger values of M, then this will make sense. Let me give you one application of this. I will discuss about the application. I will not go in depth with respect to IQ plot and all, because we are not going to analyze this. We are only dealing with the few basic type of modulation technique, and then we are going to use some. So far whatever I am discussing, these are called as coherent modulation techniques or coherent modulation schemes. Then we have non-coherent modulation techniques that we are going to discuss in the unit 2. So unit 1 we are only going to discuss about coherent detection of whatever the modulation technique that we have discussed so far. So this is a very unique case. Like, let's suppose I have m is equal to 64. Assume that I have m is equal to 64 or even 128. I'm taking a very small number. Let me start off with the 64 only. Now, I want to locate 64 amplitudes. Assume I want to locate 64 amplitudes. I know my voltage starts at 0 and my voltage ends at 1. I am sure most of you have, when I saw only 20 members had uploaded the assignment, though there were 34 people in yesterday's class, so it will be taken care. We will look after it. Who and all have not submitted, I will see that and then I'll take the action accordingly. Okay. So if you had written the assignment properly, then you will know what is the difficulty in assigning the amplitudes between 0 and 1 and that too equally distributed among 64 such symbols. So therefore, in order not to confuse, let's say if they are so tightly placed, if they are so closely spaced between the 0 and 1, it will be even difficult, it will be very difficult to distinguish between S1, S2, S2 and S3, S3 and S4, so on and so forth. So the symbol detection will become a very hard task if more number of symbols sits along the same amplitude. So what we are going to do, we are going to take the help of phase in order to differentiate between one symbol to the other. So what we will do, we are going to start off with, so we know that phases means it is extending from 0 to 2 pi. So that entire 0 to 360 degrees, we can divide it into 64, or what we will do, we normally go with, we are going to divide the region, divide the entire 360 degree into 4 different regions. Instead of placing 1 symbol along the circumference of the circle, what we will do, we are going to assign the different amplitudes on the same phase. Okay, I am just giving you an example. Let me assume that the phase is like this. So I have 4 different things. So 64, right? 64 divided by 4 is 16. 1, so this is a simple representation or notation of IQ plot for a what we can say is for a combination of ASK and PSK. It's a very complex scenario where each symbol is identified differently. So here, how many symbols, how many bits will constitute one symbol? It can be written as 2 raised to 6. So 6 binary digits will form one symbol. So you can see the complexity. There are 16 symbols on this quadrant, 16 symbols on this, 16 symbols on this, and 16 symbols on this. So this is how we are going to orient all possible. If the m value is even more greater, like 128, currently for the communication in your mobile communication, we are currently making use of m value is equal to 1024, which is 10 bits is equal to one symbol. Currently we are making use of m is equal to 1024. We practically used, and now they are trying up to 2048, which means it is around 11 bits or even greater. What will happen by increasing this number of bits? Can you tell me? By increasing this number of bits, what will happen? What's the use of going for
Information.
higher values?
Accurate information we get, ma'am.
No. Accurate information information.
Bandwidth reduces.
Speed of the
Bandwidth.
speed.
Correct. Bandwidth. Okay, bandwidth. That is one good point that you mentioned, Tejas. Right? Yes, the Prithvish, you were saying something. Yes. Okay.
Speed.
Your voice is breaking. Okay, so I'll give you the answer for this. The reason to go with higher values of k or higher values of bits or higher values of m, the reason is that
Speed. No.
as and when we go from one technology to the other, what we are trying to improve is we are trying to improve the data rate. So currently we are talking about gigabits transmission, like around 10 Gbps in wireless channel. Whatever we are talking about is 10 Gbps in wireless domain. What is 10 Gbps? 10 into 10 raised to 9 bits per second. That is what is our expected data rate with respect to our internet and broadband connections. Broadband connection will be even more larger. So if I want to push so many, this much amount of bits within 1 second, you need to be very accurate with the information and you need to push more data bits into the channel. But data bits you cannot keep on sending one after the other. You cannot afford to send only 1 bit per symbol. Rather, you can send up to 10 bits per symbol. And if you are identifying that symbol properly, then you are going to get a bulk of data at a time. That is, you are going to get all the 10 bits at a time if you are identifying the symbol properly. But there is also a disadvantage. If you are going to if your detection method is not identifying the symbol properly, then you are losing the entire 10 bits. But if you are looking at the advantage of this particular modulation, it is capable of handling more amount of bits per symbol. Therefore, it will consume less amount of bandwidth. We can, or whatever the information that we have with us, we can send all the information within less amount of time and consuming less bandwidth. Okay, that is the main advantage or main reason to go with higher and higher values of m. So this is an example where I am going to make use of only two basis functions, that is xi1 and xi2, in order to assign the positions of all the symbols, all the 64 symbols. So this type of arrangement in the IQ plot, this could be IQ plot also. This will be cosine factors and these will be sine factors. IQ plots, we normally tend to explain this in terms of IQ factors, and basis function will obviously be equal to 2. So this type of arrangement we call it as QAM. QAM, or we call it as QAM in our usual discussion. We call it as QAM. The expansion of this QAM is quadrature amplitude modulation. Quadrature amplitude modulation. So if you do a survey, which technology uses what modulation technique, digital modulation technique, if you do a survey, most of the communication modulation methods that is used is quadrature amplitude modulation, that is QAM. It starts with 16 QAM, 32 QAM, 64 QAM, 128 QAM, 256 QAM. Like that, it will go on increasing depending on the number of data bits that I am going to use to represent one symbol. So this is it with respect to ASK PSK combination, and it is having a specific name. If all the symbols are arranged in quadrature, then it is called as quadrature amplitude modulation. I hope this is clear. So we can, with one more small topic, I am going to close down for today. Okay, very small topic which will hardly take 5 minutes. So I am going to discuss that and then I am going to wind up. So you have been asking while I write the symbol expression S of t as under the root 2e by t into cos omega t plus whatever, omega naught t or omega I t, whatever it is. I have been writing like this. I think Tejas asked the question why we are writing or why we are choosing the amplitude like this. So for that question I am answering it now. I am going to derive what is called as the amplitude, waveform amplitude coefficient. We are going to derive why we are writing like this. So we are going to discuss about waveform amplitude coefficient. Waveform amplitude coefficient. Normally the carrier signal is represented as S of t. S of t having an amplitude A and just cos omega naught t. Of course phase will also be there, correct? What is this A represents? What is the A? Amplitude means what amplitude it is?
Carrier amplitude.
Carrier amplitude, but it is the peak value. It is not peak to peak value, correct? A represents the peak value of the sinusoid, yes or no? Alvaindrappa, peak to peak value na ಏನು value ಅದು A. It is simply an amplitude means ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. It is the peak amplitude of the sinusoid. Please be very specific because you are all electronic engineers. You should be able to tell what this thing represents. This kind of notation indicates this A is the amplitude, that is peak amplitude, which is very important. You need to remember these things because they are very trivial. You tend to miss out on these things, but these will have more information within it. So A is the peak amplitude of the sinusoid, right? The peak amplitude of a sinusoid, how it is related to its RMS value? Can anyone tell me? Or what is A RMS value? You tell me that, so that I can write the relation between these. What is A RMS of a sinusoid?
A by root 2.
A by, that is peak amplitude by root 2. This is the relation between RMS value of the sinusoid with its peak amplitude. Therefore, I can write A as equal to root of 2 into A RMS. Correct? So I can represent it like this. So I am going to replace, in place of A, as root 2, and under the root also I am going to accommodate A RMS. So it will be A RMS square into cos omega naught t plus 5. What is A RMS square? What is A RMS square? What it is going to signify? Root means square, value means what? What is that? What it will be measuring? Corresponding to a sinusoid. The square of the term ARMS will give you the average power of the sinusoid ARMS square is going to provide the average power of the sinusoid normalized to 1 ohm resistor, 1 ohm resistive load. Okay, so ARMS is what? It is the average power of the sinusoid normalized to 1 ohm resistive load. So I can directly say P is equal to ARMS square. So in place of ARMS square, I am going to write it as P. I am going to continue over here. So S of T can be written as under the root 2p, 2 times p into cosine of the angle omega naught t plus phi. Okay. Now what is the unit of power? What is the unit of power?
Watt.
Watt. Correct. So power of unit of SI unit of power is watts. We can also measure this power as energy consumed per unit time. Yes or no? Power can also be written as energy consumed per unit time. Where energy is measured in terms of joules and T is measured in seconds. We can also write the watt as joules per second, which is nothing but energy consumed in unit time. Okay, so I am going to do that. 2 in place of P, I am going to write it as 2 times E by T, where E is the simple energy. It is the energy required for symbol transmission over time t or in time t, in duration t, in time duration t. So what is this time duration t here? T is, capital T is the symbol duration or the duration within which one symbol is transmitted over the channel. So this is symbol duration, which is measured in seconds. This is measured in joules. Okay, this is measured in joules. So therefore 2E by T, I can conveniently write the power in watts as energy taken by each symbol for its transmission within the one symbol period or one symbol duration, that is capital T, and cos omega naught t plus phi remains intact. Understood why we are going with representation, with this kind of representation? This E plays a very significant role later on when we are going to talk about the SNR. We are going to talk in terms of EB by N naught, EB by N naught, or ES by N naught, or just E by N naught. So that kind of a representation will be done. That means we are going to measure how much energy is required to transmit a bit or a symbol within the symbol period or bit period, within the symbol duration or bit duration. Okay, for that case, for that purpose, we are going to represent the amplitudes of each and every symbol with the representation under the root 2E by T. In order to normalize the basis functions that we are using, normally basis functions, the normalized basis functions are given with the amplitude under the root 2 by T. This will be the amplitude of the basis function with cos or sin omega t plus phi. Such a representation is meant for normalized basis function. Normalized basis function. Okay, please note down all these things. I'll give you another 2 minutes. Make a note of this. We are going to stop it over here for today's class. If you have any doubts so far, we can discuss that. So in the next class onwards, we are going to discuss about modulation and demodulation method of generating an ASK, PSK and FSK. We are going to study in depth. And also we are going to discuss about receiver, one of the main receivers we require. We are going to first talk about receiver, then we are going to discuss about generation and detection of different modulation techniques. So I am stopping here. If you have any doubts so far, you can ask. If you don't have, you can copy this down, note down this properly, and then we can wind up the class. Done? So tomorrow is your notes submission. Last week also I did not ask because of the reason that we have been teaching ADC part. So I did not ask. So it has been a week since we have started the DC part from Tuesday onwards. So I'm going to ask your notes. You have to definitely upload it without fail, and that same will be reported to HOD sir. Okay. So because we will be doing weekly evaluations, and it will be, we have to give all the details to the department, and HOD sir will be overviewing or overlooking all the activities that are happening so far. So therefore we will convey whatever the things that has been experienced by us. So make sure that you are meeting the expectations of for this online efforts from the college side. So you should also put equal efforts in order to give us the proper feedback and proper information so that we can improvise from our side. Okay, so I'm going to stop it over here. I think you have written all these things. I'm going to share morning's class. I could not record. I mean, there was some glitch in the system, so I was not able to record that particular video. Or even if I had pressed record, it has not happened. I don't know for what reason. So, but this class, it has been recorded. I'm going to share this with you now itself. Okay. So, thank you all for joining. We shall meet in tomorrow's class with the further topics.